pressure washer.
Wash the hole. More banjo books. Excited to see those.
Oh yeah. Why'd you take it?
Oil pump chain is on, sprocket's on, everything's cleaned up. We've got 10 millimeters plus or minus 2 of slack there in the chain. A little bit of red Loctite on the oil pump nut, 33.5 foot-pounds. And then we had ourselves a Napa sunset. It's the end of the day. Let's get an update where we are. We're going to switch gears away from Sterling over here to Nate's Alpine 08. This morning before I came up, the guys got the subframe back in. Every bolt accounted for. The ones that were missing before have been replaced. Not everything is torqued yet. We still have to tighten up the power steering lines here. A couple things. We're missing a nut on... Oh, he put that back. We had lost it and then found it. Nope, this one. Found that nut. It was stuck to one of the magnet trays. So a lot of suspension work to do. Subframe still needs to be torqued. We're not going to do the cam sensor. We're going to see if it'll crank without it to build oil pressure. May have to do something different there, but lots of progress back here. No more engine bar up there. Engine is peacefully resting on its new motor mounts. So we'll resume that probably the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, Nate. We're going to get the 540 buttoned up hopefully tomorrow. So the cam cap came back. The time cert looks good. We did have to use a Dremel to kind of bore out this oiling hole right below the stud, so it's the exact, or close to the exact same size as the others, and should certainly suffice. Got some assembly lube in there, put the cap back, and torqued that down. That allowed us to go back to the paperwork, which is somewhere else right now, and go through all 89 or something steps and 30 pages to install the timing chains, guides, tensioners, O-rings, oil pump chain, just everything in here that we did, and it is done. We're ready to start tomorrow morning by putting on the lower timing cover and new seals, upper timing cover and gaskets, and just everything that came apart and has been cleaned. We've done all of the cleaning and organizing and all the preparatory work. It's ready to go back on. It's in time. We verified that a couple times, rotated everything by hand. Everything's nice and smooth, no noises, timing blocks. The German Auto Solutions tool is absolutely exquisite, and Mike moved that somewhere. I don't know where that is now, but we're done with it. Really, really, really happy with that. Everything fits together beautifully. The ways that you align these things are really cool. You take the solenoids out, put an adapter in there, and then it's got this little arm that swings over, and there's a pin that goes in that hole, and it only fits one way, and then you can torque these down 81 pound-feet and 92 pound-feet, I believe. So it's torqued and ready, and I feel good about it. Everything just fits together so beautifully. It's really, really nice working on a car this well made. Super satisfying putting the chains in and cluck this thing to the left and tighten everything down. It just all goes together beautifully. We did have to move over this little grub screw that is in here. It's a 4mm Allen grub screw that just kind of pushes down on the oil separator and keeps that nice and tight so it doesn't leak. We've got a little bit less play now in the oil pump chain. The spec is 10mm plus or minus 2, and we're right about 10. I'd call that between 9 and 11, so happy with that. But let's get a look at the old pieces. Couldn't visually see any chain stretch between any of the old versus new chains. Old Vanos units are here. You know, these actually weren't too bad. Of course, the little circle clips broke off where you're supposed to put those on by hand, but we found it easier to just remove both sprockets from the intake and exhaust cam together and pull the whole assembly out as one. I did find that the plastic on these old guides, particularly the idler guide, is quite brittle. There's this little tab at the bottom. I put a screwdriver in there and released it. It immediately broke off. The rest of it here, like the actual guide part, seems to be pretty stout. It's just thicker plastic. It doesn't move at all. This piece also seems to be really good. Nothing loose there or too brittle. It's the U-guide that's definitely the weak point here. And even just moving the chain out of the way carefully on here, it snapped off the tab on the back side. So that's completely gone. Same thing on this side. The new one does come with, I think it's in that bore. Yeah, there's a little plate with an oiling hole and a O-ring in there. There's the other gasket or the other piece of that clip. And then this guy, the oil separator, which is also conveniently located behind the timing chain. So to replace this, you have to retime the engine, and you'd be stupid not to replace all these parts unless you have very recently. And that's why you do it at this time. But as we took it off, and that's where the grub screw hits right there, this just shattered, and it's just all so brittle. So definitely feels good to put the new parts in. So tomorrow we just reseal the whole engine and put all the accessories and belts and pulleys and secondary air pipe, and that's clean with a new valve on it and new O-rings. We use the ones that came in the Dr. Vanos kit. They're a better material that should probably hold up better. So the goal for tomorrow will be, at the end of the day, turning the key, looking for leaks, listening to how the engine sounds, scanning for codes, throw a couple revs at it, let the Vanos do its thing. And if everything's dry, if everything's happy, no leaks, no codes, no problems, then we've got a little road trip scheduled for the car. If not, we have a plan B, but hopefully things go well. So I got to get out of here, go home, shower. It's probably going to be an in and out night, which I'm excited for. That ends today. Talk to you guys tomorrow on Friday. Nope. Thank you. You too.